220 house voted by.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. I'd like to welcome each of you to another, what we refer to as a FranTastic InSights video segment, whereby we introduce to you some very prominent personalities, all of whom are having a very positive impact on the ever-growing world of franchising. My name is David Craghead. I'm the Chief Franchise Expansion Officer for FranServe, and I will be your host for this week's FranTastic InSights segment. For those of you who may not be familiar with us, FranServe is recognized as the world's largest franchise consulting and expansion organization. We have a very simple mission, and that is we change people's lives in a very positive way through franchise ownership, and we do that through a network of incredible franchise brands in 39 different industry categories. Our growth initiatives are supported by an ever-growing portfolio of franchise consultants, some of which are often referred to as brokers, all of whom are dedicated to helping their clients explore franchise opportunities, which are deemed to be a perfect match for their individual search criteria. And today I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Cory Hibbard. Cory is representing the brand Graze Craze, headquartered in West Palm Beach, Florida. Graze Craze is the brainchild of a U.S. Airforce veteran who, after years of work in the food and beverage industry, saw the demand for a high-quality, convenient charcuterie boards. And after testing out her concept and finding that it worked so well, she opened her first couple of locations during the recent pandemic, and right away started building a customer base that has literally thrived ever since. It takes a lot of nerve to open a business during a pandemic, and that's what she did, and it's working so well. And from business events to weddings to baby showers and birthdays, or anytime people get together, Graze Craze provides a unique way to celebrate everything. And Cory is the president of Graze Craze, and I want to thank you for being with us today. As I pass the microphone to you this morning, please share your business model description and your latest perspective on Graze Craze.
Yeah, David, I really appreciate the opportunity to jump on and talk a little bit about the brand and the incredible growth and exciting things we've seen in the first 2 years that we franchised this business. So, as you said, we started our birthplace in Oklahoma City and rapidly expanded. Our first 18 months were a bit of a wild ride. The interest has been just absolutely tremendous, and we actually saw 150 unit sales the first 18 months, which was something we'd really never seen. And we are a part of Star Point Brands here at United Franchise Group. So we've been in the franchising industry for just coming up on 4 decades. It's not uncharted territory to us, but the explosive growth is almost hard to wrap your mind around for a lot of people in this space. And I really think it's people gravitating to the opportunity of, such a versatile and such a well-liked product with charcuterie. So it's been a really fun journey, but long story short, the business model looks a whole lot like serving everyone, everywhere, as you said, kind of celebrating everything with a heavy emphasis on corporate catering. There's a huge need in the space, in the corporate catering space, for something fresh, something unique, and something, again, I used the word earlier, versatile, that kind of caters to the masses without a lot of fuss and customizations and options. And our product fills that void really well. That's where we're seeing a ton of great reception. So it's been an explosive kind of journey for us out of the first coming up on 2 years here, and we're really excited to see what's around the next turn.
And thank you. And for the FranServe consultants that are watching this video, and for their benefit, as they recruit new clients to the Graze Craze concept, how would you describe the perfect franchisee for your brand?
That's a funny question, because the longer you're in franchising, the more you're stumped on who the perfect franchisee really is. But I think there are definitely a few traits we gravitate towards. We need somebody with a strong entrepreneurial spirit. We're not looking for just simple investors in the business. We want people that are going to live this business, and they're going to promote it well. So they've got to have, well, maybe not extensive marketing background. They've got to have the attitude to get out there and spread the brand name, because where we're at as a brand is we're seeing the reception's really, really good, but we need somebody to get us to the table in that local market as we build a young brand and really set out to become synonymous with charcuterie. So we need a high energy franchisee. We need an entrepreneur, absolutely. And we need somebody that's not afraid to put themselves out there and really spread the name of Graze Craze.
Okay. And for the individuals that are watching this recording on Instagram or YouTube or even Facebook or LinkedIn, what is the typical ramp up time for one of your new franchisees from the date they sign the agreement until ribbon cutting?
Ribbon cutting, we'll typically shoot for getting a couple of months under our belt in the business before we do the formal grand opening. But from the time that we sign a franchise agreement to get a store open, which is I'm assuming what you're really looking for, I would say the bulk of it actually comes down to how quickly we can move and find a great option for real estate. So that process is really variable, but we're really comfortable after we sign that lease. Between 8 to 12 weeks getting a store completely fit out and open. They don't take large spaces, 800 to 1200 square feet. They don't take an extensive amount of build out as long as the location doesn't need a lot of retrofitting. So we can move pretty quickly once we sign that lease and help franchisees get the store open, pretty quickly.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the design metrics of your individual territories? How are they created?
Yeah, so we'll break territories down by zip codes. So when we get into territory mapping, we'll break them down by zip codes. We don't divide them by zips. And we've got both a population count. Again, we've got two breakdowns of clientele, both the corporate and catering side and the business to consumer side. So we've got demographics on both the individual population counts as well as the business counts that we use to draw up these territories.
Okay, very good. And considering such impressive growth of Graze Craze, with that growth, are you forecasting any significant changes over the next 2 to 5 years?
2 to 5 years. I mean, I think we continue to see the growth track. I mean, at this point, we're opening about a store a week on average with our Graze Craze franchise. So it's tremendous to be able to continue to put flags in new states. I mean, it's about every month now we're breaking into new states. Which is great as we continue to grow this both local, national, and global brand. But for us, I think the 2-year plan is a big focus of ours at the moment is to bolster our national accounts program. The product's been very well received from large corporations coast to coast as an easy option and a consistent option for them in a catering space. So I think we use that to continue to become more and more synonymous with the product that is charcuterie. And I think that's a piece of it. And then I think international expansion, once we continue to get in that 3, 4, 5 year plan, certainly not unfamiliar to us at United Franchise Group and Starpoint Brands, but continuing to expand the product outside of our borders here in the US and expanding internationally as well.
Okay. Thank you, Cory. Something we haven't talked about, but let me ask you this. As we help you expand Graze Craze across the country, do you anticipate or do you allow any regional influences over your menu?
Great question. It's funny, I was actually on a Discovery tour a few minutes ago and was talking to someone who's specifically talking about local product and regional influence. I think we welcome it. I look at regional winemakers and vineyards as a huge pairing opportunity for us and huge door openers as they have a need for our product and we have a need for theirs. But even down to local produce and honeys and fruits and things like that on a menu, I think we encourage them as a bolt-on to what we really know works best, right? We've got very consistent product across the board. We want to maintain that, but we also highly encourage being a part of the local community. So I think there's probably a balance with every franchise and every product on how you do that without watering down the consistency of the product. But we're very interested and open to it. And even at some small local levels are already exploring that and offering it to the customers.
Okay, while we're speaking about expansion and growth, are there any what you would describe as very desirable or hot territories that you would like us to help you fill?
Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a few. Again, our footprint's expanding rapidly, so quickly we're filling some of these voids. But We'd love to continue to see more expansion in the Northeast, from probably the Mid-Atlantic all the way up through New England. I think the product's going to be incredibly well received there. We are working on opening a few locations at the moment, and we have stores as far as North Jersey right now that are open. But bit by bit, we're going to continue to chip away. I'd say New England is definitely a void we'd love to continue to attack. We do have some opportunities still in Southern California, which is another region that the product's been very well received. We just opened our first location in Chula Vista a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of opportunity from LA South. And then there's a few pockets of major markets we'd love to attack as well. But I would say New England specifically to get us as broad as a footprint as we can across the country to continue to bolster these national accounts and provide business back to the franchisees.
Okay, thank you. And can you describe a little bit about your training program, both classroom as well as on-site, out in the field training as well?
Yeah, look, so again, we've had the huge benefit of being in a family of brands that's done something like this before. So we really bolstered a strong hands-on training program. We do 2 weeks here in our home office in West Palm Beach, Florida. And then from there, we come out and spend 2 weeks in the store with the franchisee in both operational and technical, as well as a week specifically focused on marketing, sampling, and getting out to build relationships in the local community. So we have both the conceptual and the classroom style training here in the home office, as well as a local store that we visit and spend some time in, as well as the extensive hands-on training when we send our team out there to go get the stores open and launched.
Okay. Post-COVID, we've heard a lot about staffing and labor shortages. Are you feeling any of those effects?
You know, it's funny, a big draw to why we launched this brand and jumped on the opportunity back in the pandemic was labor. It's a very low staff model. You don't need a ton of employees on payroll. And it was a big draw to us because that was the biggest issue in food at the time. We really have not seen a lot of trouble in finding help in the store. And I don't know if it's because of the business model, if it's the training model, or what it is that has seemed to have been a draw, but we've been very fortunate. And I know it won't stay this way forever because it's very cyclical, but we've been very fortunate, honestly, to not have too many struggles through that for the time being. And we can't really put a thumb on as to why, but we've been very fortunate to really not struggle through that so much at the moment.
Okay, thank you. For those individuals who may not be familiar with the charcuterie business model, can you speak about the requirements for food prep or the kitchen area, please?
Yeah, very, very simple, very straightforward. We don't require franchisees to have any food experience prior to coming into the business. It's a very simple kitchen model. We don't require deep fryers. Most locations, depending on zoning, don't even require grease traps or things along those lines. So we've got some stainless prep tables in the back of the kitchen. A lot of our product is refrigerated. We do have a slicer. We slice all of our meats fresh, as well as, hand cut our vegetables. But as long as you're comfortable with a knife and you're comfortable with a slicer as both an employee and a manager and an owner, it's a pretty simple business to get up to speed on, as long as you follow the system, right? We've got build guides and pretty detailed instructions on video and print and every board that we make. So we try to make it as easy as possible.
You may not know this, but Graze Craze is the only brand that we have in our portfolio that's in the charcuterie concept category. So you guys own that category, and we're glad that you do, because you're taking such good care of it. And I'm down to the final question. And by the way, I want to thank you for being so thorough with your answers. It's been very helpful. But the final question I have for you, Cory, is there one takeaway from this interview today that you would want our viewers to know about your brand?
Yeah, I think the versatility of the product and how that ties into the opportunity for your prospective franchisees is really what seems to draw the majority of our good franchisees into the system. It's incredibly versatile in just the breadth and the depth of the opportunities out there. There's very few opportunities actually that don't fit well with charcuterie catering. So I would say just understanding where charcuterie fits. And again, education is going to be really the name of the game for us for the next few years as we build the mainstay in the charcuterie space. So, working alongside that and understanding how versatile the product is really changes the landscape on what can be done with a business like this. So again, we're excited about the prospects of how the business grows and evolves over time as well. But I think that's the big hurdle as you have a young brand and you're building and growing it. That's a big hurdle to get over. And we've been fortunate to have both customers and franchisees see the incredible potential with it and join the team.
Okay. Well, Cory, once again, thank you for being so generous with your time today and being so thorough with your answers. We appreciate that. And thank you also for the privilege of your time. This entire interview will be posted on the FranServe support site. It'll be archived in the FranServe library. It'll also be uploaded for the general population to Instagram, YouTube. It'll be on Facebook and LinkedIn. And with that, we will adjourn today's FranTastic InSights recording. Cory, thanks again. We appreciate your time, sir.
Same here, David. Thanks so much for your time.
Take care. Bye-bye now.